Hey, RetconRaider here, and welcome back to Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. As today, we go Quart Marshal, our local scribe. But first, the notorious container, which I, just kind of glossed right past my first time through. And, full disclosure, I just looked away from the screen at exactly the wrong moment. Hazard of having cats, you know. I mean, I'm sure for those of you who've kept up with my sporadic cat pic postings, you know I've got a fairly sizable clouder, and they do like to come up and visit every so often, and that animation played pretty quick. I want to say it took like, 1-2 seconds to play out, and by the time I looked back, the camera had already moved away a bit, and I was fully under the impression that whatever we were looking for was down here, in what looked like a pretty traversable area, considering the scenery, the sloped containers, etc. But, you know, regardless, I would have spotted it on the way back out anyway. That said, let's see what all the fuss is about, shall we? Then we'll go give Tithes the full Quart press. Servo gauntlets. Dodge penalty of the wearer's armor is reduced by 10%. If the wearer's agility is 60 or more, that penalty is reduced by 15 instead. Okay, I mean, handy for a medium armor character who's not a soldier, I suppose. Or who just really doesn't want to take that second skin talent. Or possibly a heavy armored character who wants some extra dodge. And the Retinal Analyzer. Whenever the wearer hits a target with a shield, target must pass a toughness save or be knocked prone. Kind of fun, but I don't really feel like we hit people with shields enough for that to really be worth the slot. I mean, I don't think we've actually gotten anything all that notable in solo slot regardless, but we've hit people with our shield maybe like twice ever. Which I would actually do more often if it didn't eat our entire actual attack action, which is just, you know, generally put to better use with a real attack. Anyway, let's go catch up with Tithes. We'll do this by the numbers.
I always keep my options open.
Oh, you are back. You are back? Yeah, I am. The clerk gives you a hounded look, his implant crackling ominously. You've eliminated the ambuls. Good. I'm crossing them off the inventory. How many injuries have you sustained? I must account for the units of blood spilt. Yeah, Tithes, buddy. Look, this was fun and all, but I think I'm about done playing along. I think we both know there was no cogitator down there. The clerk's eyes well up. I thought it would stop you. I have a job to finish. You can't imagine how hard it is. The workload, the responsibility. Please understand, I'm on my own here. Well, almost. The clerk adds in a conspiratorial whisper. There's another scribe here. He works at night and litters the reports with errors. Uh-huh. Yeah, the mysterious Quirtius Tort, no doubt. Though that does beg the question, why so few scribes for an entire planet's worth of tithes? There used to be more of us. 5 died of exhaustion, 3 were killed in collapses of tithe assets, 2 were eaten by ambuls, another 11. I don't know. Administratum replenishments are too rare. This world is too highly classified. Right. And the ambuls? Please don't tell me that was someone's idea of a tithe. Ambuls? Repulsive, aggressive pests. They adapt to any environment. This world is infested with them. They got to the tithe and gobbled up everything they saw, and I had to update the inventory. The clerk's voice falters and turns into inconsolable weeping. Yeah, look, that's very sad. I'm sympathetic to your plight, but what exactly was your end game here? Like, what do you think was going to happen if your wacky prank here had, in fact, succeeded in getting me killed?
Death. But with you gone, the tithe would have stayed here. It would have given me time. Meeting the target, filling in the last form. Those are the only things that matter.
Sure. He has lost his mind and is unlikely to recover it. I see no point in judging a madman. I suggest simply collecting the inventory and leaving. Well, Quart, what's it going to be? You ready to hand over that inventory report? Or do we have to take it?
It's incomplete.
The scribe recoils and clutches his head with a moan.
The inventory is in my implant, and it's notifying me of unaccounted for assets all the time.
The clerk whimpers. His implant creaks in response.
My head is the inventory.
Well, Quart, it sounds like in that case, you should probably stop fighting and come with us before I find some other way to head off the problem. The clerk sobs and lowers his sparking head, ready to follow you. Okie dokie. Well, that was relatively painless, but I'm sure we're not done just yet. Still waiting on those mercenaries. I mean, we all know they're showing up at some point, right? They wouldn't have gone through the trouble to introduce them if they weren't playing a role in all this. Just like the planetary self-destruct device. You don't do that kind of lampshading without intent. Arbitrators. Oh. Rogue Trader, we are now in the final stage of the loading process. Consequently, your shuttle is finally able to maneuver around and land. As soon as the matter of the inventory is settled, you will be free to depart. Great. Yeah, here's your man Quart. Anything else? We do not have much left to load. The bulk of it is already on the barges, and the rest is being delivered automatically. We merely need to decide what to do with the living tithe. They have bred irresponsibly and are now twice as numerous as before. Right, the human surplus you mentioned. I have been meaning to talk to you about that. Those guardsmen have been on Lethis for years, if not decades, and new ones keep arriving all the time. They disregard regulations, form clans, start families, and procreate. Such are the pernicious consequences of their aimless existence, and the proof of their lack of fortitude. Well, be that as it may, Lethis is technically one of my worlds, which technically makes this surplus my people. And thus we're certainly not leaving them behind. The Expanse can always use more people, and a fair bit of this tithe is rubbish anyway. Prioritize the people. Leave the rubbish. Proctor Jaeger nods without taking her eyes off her data slate. Evidently, the fate of these people interested her only within the framework of statistics. Then it is settled. Your shuttle is ready to depart. We will take care of... And here we go. The space around you suddenly fills with screeches and crackles that pour from every voxcaster and speaker. Then, you hear a deep male voice.
Query. Invitation to the Von Valancius Orbital Station. Uploading coordinates into the shuttle's central cogitator. Complete. Purpose. Finalizing the Oblivion Directive.
The voice goes into a guttural, gurgling cough.
Tarry not, offspring. If you delay, you will be blown up along with all the extraneous subjects.
Okay, Oblivion Directive, right? So, kind of what I was expecting, but not entirely.
Blast it!
Jaeger whispers, grabbing her data slate and typing frantic commands into it. Abelard wrinkles his face tentatively. That voice, does it sound familiar? No, why would it? Forgive me, Lord Captain, I am hearing things. Wait. No, it said male. Who am I talking to?
Answers. Yes, we have always had a thirst for knowledge. I will satisfy your curiosity when you come to me. I need to know if you have what it takes to see this through. Now hurry. This world will soon cease to exist.
Interesting. Jaeger's data slate is flashing a panicked red. The augers are recording anomalous seismic activity. Someone has started arming the cyclonic bombs in the bowels of Lethis. The machine spirits are rejecting all counter-litanies. The planet is done for. We cannot stop this. Her lips tighten into a white streak, and her data slate falls to the floor. The Proctor raises her weapon, followed by the rest of the arbitrators. I demand an explanation, Rogue Trader. Why can't we block the Oblivion? Who is your accomplice? What do you think you're doing, Jaeger? Lower your weapon this instant! Jaeger, you really don't want to go down this path. It doesn't end well for you. I'm just as much in the dark as you are. Oh? Allow me to explain. You seized the Tithe by somehow obtaining both the Marshal's and the Administratum's authorizations. Then an accomplice contacted you and tricked the machine spirits into activating the destruction of the world with cyclonic bombs. Bombs delivered years ago from a Von Valancius world, I should add. All that is left to do is get away and cover your tracks. Did I miss anything? Enough, Jaeger. Not only are your efforts not helping to protect the Tithe, they are actually hurting the cause. Lay down your weapons before you make one final mistake. I see you no longer serve the Lex Imperialis, but the interests of a rogue trader. Jaeger resolutely clutches her weapon. Hey, just a crazy idea, but could we maybe hold off on killing each other until we at least know what's really going on? That depends entirely on you and what you're about to tell me. Well, I mean, you used to be an arbitrator, right? You had to investigate things before you got stuck on this, storage dump of a planet. Try going back over that whole conspiracy theory you just wove in your head. See how much of it falls apart under the slightest bit of scrutiny. Which do you find more likely, that a newly appointed rogue trader who just found out about this world arranged all this? Or that I simply blundered into someone else's plot, already in progress? I mean, I do have at least one evil relative still floating around out there somewhere. Well, I don't think he'd call me offspring. She narrows her eyes. That sounds plausible. Great. One step closer to not having to shoot you in the face. The noises we heard on the Voxes right before that voice cut in. That was clearly someone intercepting and hijacking our transmissions. I've got 3 ships in orbit. Why would I need to resort to that? You really don't think that's a clear sign that someone else is crashing our party? Perhaps someone is trying to frame you. Or there are even more convoluted motives involved. The bolter's muzzle lowers slowly, as if overcoming an invisible obstacle. I see no need for further confrontation. Consider the issue settled for now. We will board your flagship, and you will investigate the identity of the perpetrator. Let us return to this matter in the Marshal's presence on Dargonis. Yeah, really looking forward to that. I'm sure this won't at all play into Inscribia's plans to make us all look bad. It is, unfortunately, starting to increasingly sound like this is something in-house. I'm just trying to figure out who, because, obviously it's not Conrad. It wouldn't... I could see him potentially trying something like this, but... Oh, a servitor. They're not going to retroactively give me a father, are they? Because that would be weird. Watcher of Lethis. Well, hold tight, bud. We'll be right with you. Lady Theodora's mantle, which does seem to verify this is indeed in-house. At the start of the wearer's turn, if there are more enemies than allies in combat, the wearer deals plus 20% more damage with melee weapons. Ooh, that's kind of fun. That would actually be pretty solid on Abelard, but let me see what I've currently got in his back slot. Oh, okay. No, we definitely want the auto success on taunting. And we're obviously not going to dump the death from above cloak on Kibbles either. Alright, let's go chat up our maybe estranged father, question mark? Because I'm not really seeing a lot of other directions this could go. A human torso is built into the massive cogitator. Countless cables entangle the shriveled body and snake under the pale skin. Identification. Rogue Trader von Valancius, initiating the final stage of the Oblivion Directive. A ragged wheeze escapes the box grill, and the man's speech becomes more animated and bilious. You have arrived at last, offspring. At last, everything ends. Go on, take the last step. Confirm the execution of the directive, and in so doing, destroy Lethis, take its riches, and free me from this unbearable vigil. Yeah, look, I'm not doing anything until I know exactly what's going on here. You want me to do something? You'd best start talking. You really do not know? Did she choose not to tell you, or did she not get the chance? It doesn't matter anymore. Yours is the blood of the dynasty. And so, I am compelled to give you this answer. The man announces in a mechanical voice. Supreme Ordinance, the arrival of the head of the von Valancius dynasty, with the purpose of the complete extraction of the Tithe, triggers the immediate activation of the Oblivion Directive by the Watcher of Lethis. At the moment of the directive's activation, the machine spirits of the initiation systems
are bound in Prometheus Proxima class Cognishackles. The Cognishackles cannot be removed by any means. The directive guarantees the rogue trader's acquisition of the planet's assets and the destruction of Lethis, presented as being caused by the actions of the enemies of humanity.
Oh, okay. Right. So, Lady Theodora intended to steal the tithe from the start. She arranged the world's destruction to cover her tracks, installed a servant to keep an eye on things, and even made a contingency plan in case of her own death. All she needed was an opportune moment, like this one, with the expanse being torn apart. The planet's death looks convincing. Yeah, I got that. Thanks, Solo. An outrageous accusation! Lady Theodora never would have sullied herself with such heresy. Stealing the sacred tithe? Never! Oh, Abby, you sweet summer child. And intercepting our communications, calling me up here. That was also all part of this?
Yes. I needed to exchange codes with the flagship in order to identify the vessel and its owner. I had to sift through onboard communication channels and systems to verify the new Lord Captain's data and his right to be one.
Great, then you know who I am. Shut down the Oblivion Protocol. There's been a change of plans. Theodora's dead.
I must refuse. The Supreme Ordinance states that if the head of the dynasty has declared the tide's evacuation, I am to destroy the planet. You are the one who announced to the arbitrators that you are taking the tithe with you. The directive has been initiated, and the Cognishackles placed. It cannot be stopped.
Is that so? And if I were to say, blast this entire station out of orbit?
Then you will change nothing. The directive cannot be stopped. The Cognishackles, once applied to the initiation systems, are unbreakable. Accept your fate, offspring. I accepted mine long ago.
So you're saying that even though Theodora is dead, you still want me to steal the Imperial tithe? Whether I want to or not.
I have long since been robbed of the luxury of freely expressing my thoughts. I am merely quoting Theodora's plan.
This qualifies for a culprit's confession. Except the culprit herself is dead, and judging this creature would be pointless. Still, we must decide what to do next, rogue trader. Solomorn gives you a long look before continuing. If the Marshal learns the whole truth, it will make things difficult for everyone. It is better that you redress Theodora's crime by sending part of the tithe to support the afflicted worlds of the Expanse, and delivering the rest to the Administratum. Oh, unexpected. Solo, just to clarify, am I misunderstanding your suggestion, or are you seriously proposing that I essentially misappropriate part of the Imperial tithe? Before the conversation we had, I would have considered it a crime myself. But with the Expanse burning, and after witnessing every shade of absurdity on Lethis, my opinion has changed. Helping the distressed planets is an investment in the future. A future which we may not live to see if we don't look after the people. Besides, how are we to collect new tithes without those who labor for the good of the Imperium? I mean, Solo, buddy, I don't disagree. That's one of my main guiding principles. I'm just pleasantly surprised to hear it coming from you. Good. I've had enough complications for one mission. Agreed, though I suspect we've got at least a few more coming down the pipeline. And as for our friend here, Solomore nods and turns his heavy gaze to the creature. So what exactly are you? Servitor? Cogitator? Something in between?
Something entirely different, offspring. A prisoner of my own mind and these machines. Do not let my manner of speech deceive you. I am only following the orders vested in me. The part of my brain that controls my ability to converse and holds the scraps of my personality was severed from my volition centers and locked into a cage of functions and limitations.
So you have independent thought, but no real sense of self.
Calling it thought would be an overstatement. Imagine a corridor with all the doors locked except for one or two. That would be my consciousness. Yes, a dark, suffocating corridor with fading pictures of memory and nail scratchings on the walls.
But you still have enough sense of self to desire an end. Part of your punishment, I imagine?
What does it matter what I crave if I am doomed to follow orders? Yes, I need you to complete the Oblivion Directive and trigger the station's shutdown so that I can be set free at last. And yet, in all these years, I have done nothing to bring my death closer. I can wait an eternity longer, suffering but infallibly obedient.
What exactly did you do to Theodora to deserve all this?
I was a threat to Theodora's rule, and she had my brain dissected. A sophisticated sentence. To be humiliated, to live in suffering, yet continue to serve the dynasty, perfectly harmless. Absorb this lesson, offspring. That is how a rogue traitor metes out punishment.
Pass. But I did have another question.
Of course. You are welcome to prolong my agony for as long as you like.
Well, I mean, I don't love putting it like that, but, you keep calling me offspring. Clearly you're fishing for a reaction. Why?
What else should I call you? The heir to the dynasty's throne, a young descendant. You may have grown used to people prostrating themselves before you. But to me, you are just a child.
Right, but offspring implies a very specific familial connection. Who exactly are you?
That is the one question I cannot answer. Theodora did not wish for anyone to learn the name of he who has become the Watcher of Lethis.
Darn, I guess it will forever remain a mystery, but just out of curiosity, if Theodora herself were here and ordered you to reveal your identity, what would you tell her? The man says nothing for a long time, and the air around the cogitator grows noticeably hotter. Finally, he speaks.
I would say, dear sister, what a silly question. It is me, Darius, your older brother, whom you condemned to eternal torment.
Ah, so not a father, but an uncle. By the Holy Throne! So that's where I remember that voice from. I saw you once when I was accompanying Lady Theodora. You weren't as you are now back then. But she never spoke of you as her brother. Why? Wait, if you're Lady Theodora's brother, her older brother, Then why have I never heard of you before? I have an entire crypt dedicated to my family line on my ship.
Had I been a legitimate child, yes. They would have written my name in gold in the dynasty's chronicle. However, my mother's origin, as well as certain other circumstances, were damaging for House von Valancius, and so my inclusion into the family hit a snag. When Theodora was young, I was brought to Dargonis to be trained for the role of seneschal. When she became the rogue trader, she refused to recognize me as her kin. She needed an obedient servant who wouldn't challenge her rule. Had I behaved myself, perhaps Theodora would have condescended to call me her brother and heir on her deathbed.
If. Implying that you didn't behave. What exactly did you do?
As Theodora's senior relative and direct heir, I could lay claim to her throne. And I did. I intended to kill her and declare a search for her successor, and while it went on, to enter the warrant chamber and assume the rogue trader's title by right of blood. Theodora exposed my plan, executed anyone who had taken part in the conspiracy, and turned me over to her tech priests.
It wasn't enough to just kill you. She wanted you to suffer, even if it ironically meant you'd technically end up outliving her.
Yes. At first I thought Theodora was going to pay me visits so she could gloat, but she never once appeared on the station. I have a different explanation now. For a von Valancius, even punishment must befit his status, with a gilded prison and one-of-a-kind augmetics, so as not to have a pathetic servitor mar the dynasty's image.
I do not know what kind of person you were, but I feel sorry for you. To be reduced to an expensive doll, a toy in someone's hands. No one deserves such a fate. Speaking of fates, if you've been in my ship records, you clearly know that Theodora has passed. Are you not at all curious about how that came to be?
I cannot ask questions about anything unrelated to my function. Now that you have brought it up yourself, however. No, I do not want to know. If I heard that she had died by chance at the hands of an unworthy opponent, I would be gravely disappointed. After all, I have always solaced myself by believing that Theodora was someone extraordinary, and only because of this was she able to beat me.
Ah, I see. Well, in that case, yes, probably best not to ask.
I agree. The past is best dredged up in small quantities.
Which, I suppose, just leaves the matter of the tithe.
Yes. Announce your decision.
As Solo suggested, a portion of the tithe shall be kept. To support and enrich, I suppose, the worlds of my protectorate, the worlds of the Expanse. The rest will go to the Administratum.
You are a better person than Theodora was. Do not take this as a compliment. It is an extremely detrimental quality for a rogue trader.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
The rogue trader has spoken. The barges will go where he has decreed, and the Watcher of Lethis has served his purpose. I had hoped that I would feel relief. I know that it's there, locked inside my protocols. And she wanted me to know and to not feel.
The Watcher's head hits his sunken chest. Even at the moment of his death, he was denied the elation of freedom. That's rough, buddy. The vid screens of the cogitator flicker, trying to process the influx of data. Then, fade all at once. Yeah, that's probably not great. How you doing, Darius? Dead? Good for you. Alright, let's see what comes next. I imagine we'll get a call or event of some sort as soon as we leave. Hopefully everyone made it off on time. Oh, and here we go. Your Voxcaster hisses softly, drawing your attention. It seems someone has been hailing you for some time now.
Lord Captain, your immediate intervention is required. The barges you sent to Dargonis have been attacked by enemy ships that just emerged from the warp.
You don't say. Let me guess. Mercenaries? Fangs of the Expanse, perhaps?
They carry no identifying marks, and the signatures are unreadable. All I can tell you is that they are of Imperial construction.
Right. Any idea how they found us? This system's supposed to be classified.
At present, we do not know, Lord Captain, but we are already working on it.
Roger, roger. On my way. Imperial Universe-class mass conveyors. Oh, please don't tell me this is an escort mission. We've got baddies right behind us, though at least we've got our own escorts here as well. They can hopefully draw some fire. 4 Cobra class. That's not awful. I mean, they've got some bite, but they're still pretty low-tier mooks. Positioning's awkward, though. At best, we can engage 1, maybe 2, while the others just kind of pick away at the conveyors. The one right behind us is the most awkward. Unless we do a full bootleg, but that would essentially require ignoring the rest, which is an even worse idea. So I think our best bet is to veer left and essentially go full circle. Though we will, of course, hedge our bets where possible. Reset, shallow jump. I think we can nuke the one right in front of us. Oh, close. But not close enough. I was hoping to keep a reload on tap, just in case we had to fire off a second salvo. Hey, but it only took 1. Didn't even need the mag guns. Still got 3 in the wild, though, so let's not get too excited. Plus, I imagine, reinforcements. 3 Cobras, 4 Cobras. Does feel too easy. Oh, come on. Alright, fair enough. Hang tight. We'll knock that one out next round. Let's see what the escorts do. Like 70. Plus 24. $60. Ooh. What was that? Another 60 maybe? Asteroid damage, nice. But he turned a lot faster than I would have liked. Oh, boy. I think the rightmost conveyor is already down more than a quarter. Hey, not bad. I mean, I'd rather have you guys focused on the ones in back, but I'll take it. Conveyor's on the move. Okay, that'll make things maybe a little easier. Oh, for goodness sake. Okay, right, that's a lot faster than I was expecting. Sword class, Falchion class, Cobra. Oh, literally behind us. Like, right behind us. My goodness. Okay, well, oh, okay. Damage wasn't nearly as bad as I thought. I guess shields ate some of it. But still not great. Cobra 2, out. Push Cobra 3. Bit of a ways out there, though. Not sure we can act. Oh, actually, with warp jump. We should be able to make it. Double lance. Nice. Wasn't sure that would make it without Yurliet's damage boost. Third one's still going to get some licks in, though, on Conveyor 3. Probably push it down into the 250-ish range. Ah, can't reset the twist yet. $24. 48. 72. Puts Conveyor 3 at almost exactly half, unless there was mitigation in there somewhere. Sword moving to intercept. Heartless taking a slightly more roundabout approach. Sword, are you gonna block? I think... Huh. Okay, well, I mean, I would complain about that, but that actually kind of helps. Cobra 5 tagged. Finish Cobra 4. Hopefully with enough left over for 5 as well.
All hands,
Prepare for acceleration.
Four out. Pushing 5. Five out. Reload. Warp. Shift. Twist? Twisting might actually be better if we can completely push one off. Kind of makes the reload redundant, but that's fine. Oof. It was like 60, 70 damage there. And another 48. New facing, though, so shields ate some of it. Heartless engaged. I would love if you could maybe, like, focus on a single side rather than scatter-shotting your attacks on every single shield facing. But that's fine. Okay, so this will take out their fighter squad. Oh, for goodness sake. Wave 3, incoming. What is that? Front left? Yes. But a good ways out, so that's like 2 rounds out. Let's, right. Interceptors out. Focus down the falchion on right.
Helmsman, take us in.
Oh, we've got our ults back on tap. Nice. Might fire that off once we're in a better position. Mag gun should finish it. If not that, then a twist.
Engage the engines. Elbow.
Rip them up.
Nice. Which means we still have our twist, though. Right, yeah. Twist won't really help us here. Alright, just hold it. But we will use ult. Let's get more targets on the field.
Let the void sort them out.
Conveyor 2 has taken the lead, which is actually good for us because that one's still at full health. So now it will draw fire before the other two do. reinforcements incoming. $48 more damage on Conveyor 1. But the frigate is moving away, so I think we might be good, as long as we can kill these guys faster than they can get past us. Yeah, get in there, Heartless. Chew them up. Draw fire. I feel like, did I miss a turn in here somewhere, or, I think it's just weird initiative rolls. Just feels like it's been a while since our last turn. Yes, into the exploding nebula. Also, very glad to see the Heartless and I guess the Sword are both doing their part in drawing fire. Oh, I see. Okay, and then that's our exit zone. Gotcha. Yeah, Heartless has definitely gone twice since our last turn. No, they definitely skipped us. We're registering as going in round 6 now. Last time I saw us on the timeline, we were registering in round 5. Very strange. But we're coming up before too much longer, so I guess it's fine. They haven't really done any serious damage. We've still got plenty of time to get stuck in. Though it does suck losing a whole round of torpedoes.
Impure tremble.
And here we go. Let's make up for lost time. Hammer down the first, and then hopefully the second. 2 and 3 are pretty well entangled, so if one goes up, the other will take some pretty serious damage. Hey, nice. Big guy number 1 out. I would call it sword 1, but that would get confusing. Pushing next in line.
Smite the enemies of humanity.
Drop torps, reload. Strafe. Strafe. Warp shift. Warp shift. Mag guns should get it done.
Strike them now.
Hey, nice. Number 2, out. Number 3 and 5 turn the wrong way, so it's just number 4 we have to worry about. Yeah, number 5 seems pretty set on duking it out with a Heartless, which I am just fine with. A clash of swords.
Do not miss your chance, Elantak.
Finish 3. Nice, nice. And refocus 4. Hard right.
Smite the enemies of humanity.
Let them taste our fury.
4, out. Which leaves 5 in the interceptors here. I think we're good. Short of another wave rolling in, which might actually happen. We've still got a bit of distance between the conveyors and the evac zone. Scratch that. Only interceptors left. Though the fact the fight didn't instantly end is not a great sign. Perhaps once these guys are out. Explode, please. Oh, thank goodness. Was that a level up? I don't think it was. Normally, if it were, they'd have a promotion button right there on the end screen. Reporting. All enemy vessels destroyed. When will these upstarts get the message? You attack a rogue trader, you'll be floating in the void like a dead rat in a lower decker's soup. Indeed. Any idea who they were? Mercenaries, right? Well coordinated, well equipped, signatures encrypted. Those weren't some nameless void rabble. They were professionals. You're right, Lord Kenton. Mercenaries. Any idea how they found us? The Vox relays the sound of hearty spitting. Traitors. Some of them had infiltrated the crew. A dozen voidsmen, a few officers, and Drone, even one of the astropaths. That eyeless scumbag sent his mates the system's coordinates when we arrived. Their ships must have been patrolling this region in hopes of discovering Lethis. Are any still alive? I'd love to have words. The Master-at-Arms handled their interrogation personally, and she managed to break the most resistant ones. In short, we learned that they wanted to destroy part of the Tithe and retreat. Strange behavior for pirates, wouldn't you agree? The last one spat out a cryptic warning along with his entrails. By the time you get back to Dargonis, it will be too late. I don't know what that means exactly. It means that Inscribia is deliberately trying to sabotage our mission, to make both us and the arbitrators look bad. What about the barges? They all made it out, right? Successfully translated into the warp, and are now on their way to their designated coordinates. Lord Kenton. Great, great. Though that is also a slight issue since they're not technically going where they're supposed to go, but, you know. Report received. Let's head back to Dargonis. Interesting. It's funny because, you know, if not for the fact that Inscribia kind of overplayed her hand here in trying to deliberately sabotage the mission, she might have actually gotten all the ammunition she needed to essentially undermine both us and the arbitrators simply by virtue of the separate conspiracy that Theodora had set into motion. Though I'm sure she'll still do her utmost to try to twist things in her favor. Given the way things have played out through the rest of this DLC, my guess is that our grand finale will be returning to Dargonis, facing potential charges, talking our way out of them, and then ultimately having a final showdown with Inscribia's mercenaries, almost certainly in the Palace of Justice, where we oversaw those previous trials, since even back then I think I commented on the fact that it looked an awful lot like a combat arena, especially with the giant conspicuous cannon, which I imagine will stand in for the final boss, since, obviously, Inscribia herself won't pose much of a martial threat. But, you know, that's just my best guess at it. I guess we'll know soon enough. See you then. Oh, and special thanks to the Raiders, the fine folks who help make these videos possible, including but not limited to Eerie V23, Revenant, Alois, Aerobowman, Dragon Matrix 7, Drakiith, EgonAlter, Exsellsior, Gottlieb, James Trimmier, Lady Shayna, Mark Giemza, Nathan Welch Jr., OverlordPherom, RandomPassrby, RobbyB, Tomasz Piątkowski, Triphoppenskip, and Valinrook. Thanks for your support, guys. That said, if you'd also like to help support the channel, then feel free to push the buttons that do the things. Trust me, it does make a difference. Or you could even check out the PayPal, the Patreon, the Nexus GG, or the YouTube memberships. Links are in the description.
Do not miss your chance, Elantark.